Are you here? Give me a little wave if you're here. Oh gosh, I was just saying to my friends on Instagram, it's a different scene today, so I'm not quite sure what you can see in the background. I learnt my lesson after doing this morning to check all areas of the background. But so this is my bit of the studio kitchen. You've probably seen it before, you know, kind of taken from a different angle. So you can see kind of the rest of the ground floor here. And yeah, so I'm sorry about if there's a bit of noise. I know Facebook, you're very sensitive to noise, aren't you? Because you told me off before when I had a window open. This is the gas that's on. So yes, Instagram, I know you'll remind me about the knobs. So, you know, hopefully I'm closer to it today so I'll be able to hear it. But I'm melting some candle wax in preparation of what I'm going to show you. So, how is everybody? Is everybody good? Let me know. How's your week been? Gosh, it's been a long one. Hi Hilary. Hello, Maddie. Hi Deborah, Chris, Julie. Hi. Oh yes, you like my dress. So let me tell you about my dress. I don't know what it is with what I choose to wear, but whatever I seem to buy, I then go and click, because I know that you always like to know what I'm wearing and, you know, maybe go and buy it or whatever, or check it out. So I bought this from John Lewis about 2 weeks ago maybe. It's by LK Bennett, which is a really nice British brand, and I absolutely love it. And it was £150, and I thought, oh, you know, should I get this? But I just knew, looking at it, it's my style, it's the wrap that I like, it's an amazing colour. Anyway, I went to do the link this morning, which I popped, I know Amy will pop the link on Facebook and the links on Linktree for Instagram, and blow me, it's half price, okay? So here's Muggins here, who seems to get everything. I did the same with Marks and Spencer's. So I don't know, maybe they're tracking me or something and think, oh yeah, she's ordered that, so great, let's mark it down at half price. Anyway, so it's on the John Lewis website. There is a link. I know, Amy, you'll do it for Facebook and Instagram. Don't rush off now. Please stay with me. But I do, of course, try and feed my little Linktree link on Instagram with just as much stuff as I possibly can. But yeah, I do really like it. It's a heavy fabric, so it hangs really well, and I think it kind of, it just sort of nips you in, and I don't know, it just kind of fits all the right places. And I really like having 3/4 length sleeves. I don't know about you, but I just, maybe because I'm always doing stuff and rubbing on hand cream and things, I find things that come down just annoying. So my style is always very much to get a bit of skin here, because I think it elongates your face. I've got quite a round face, so I don't tend to wear kind of high neck things. I like things that kind of give you a bit of length and a bit of shortness here. Anyway, enough about frocks. Let's get on with today, because I thought it would be nice to do some things that are quite crafty. Yesterday the soap making seemed to go down really well. Do you like the soaps? So yeah, I had lots of messages from various folks saying they were going to try making soaps, and it's just a fun thing that you can do. You know, you can do it with your kids, you can do it to make presents for people, which are practical as well as very pretty. And the same is true for today. Now, sadly, Lily's not here. I was really hoping that we were going to be able to do a mum and daughter thing together, but she had a bad migraine yesterday. So, Lil, if you're watching, I'm sending you loads of love, sweetheart. Really missing you, and hoping that that you can get well very soon. Anyway, so she's taken to her bed. But I do have the candle making here, and hopefully it's something that she and I can do together another time, because I know this is right up her street. Now, I got a candle making kit from this lovely British company that I've known about for ages, called True Grace. It's run by Philippa and Roger, and they are not far from me in the West Country, and they've built a really lovely British brand. Go and have a look at their website sometime, not now obviously, but a bit later. It's truegrace.co.uk, based down in the West Country, and they built their business on really lovely candles and home fragrancing and diffusers and body sprays and all sorts of just really gorgeous smelly things. And obviously when all this hit, retail just collapsed. You know, one of their big customers was John Lewis, and you know, for a small British brand, it's really hard. You know, your retail just kind of just tanks. So very cleverly, being a nimble small British brand, family-run brand, which is kind of the brands that I really like, they managed to reconfigure things, and they decided to sell candle making kits, which is great. Who doesn't want to make a candle during, you know, lockdown? So I thought I would show you just what that kit looks like, and they supply all sorts of other bits and bobs. But this is the kit. It comes in a box. It's quite expensive. It's £100 for the whole thing, but that's because you get all the equipment that you can then go on and use and use and use. And they have given us a 10% discount. So if you want to go on and buy anything on their website, you'll get 10% off with Liz Loves. Okay? So what you have to do is you first of all have to melt your candle wax. And the wax that they use is all natural waxes, obviously. So it comes like this. And I've been melting mine for about 20 minutes or so. So that's what it looks like, your kind of blob of candle wax. And I'll read you the little bit of blurb, because they give you all the instructions here on how to do it. And it says, welcome to our first ever True Grace Candle Workshop. Welcome. And it talks about their business. Actually, I'll read you a little bit about their business, because it's a lovely background story. The business began to take shape. Let me just turn this off. Thank you. No knob wrangling, reminding, because I've turned it off now. Okay. It says, the business began to take shape 27 years ago. Gosh, I didn't know that. 27 years ago in London, starting with a stall at Portobello Market and eventually growing enough to be able to have our own carbon neutral factory in Wiltshire. In the countryside, we're incredibly passionate about making our products, ensuring we use only sustainable and high quality ingredients and traditional manufacturing methods. The result in our beautifully scented candles you can create at home with the True Grace Candle Workshop, and that is with love from Roger and Philippa. So I hope you're watching. And it says here, the name True Grace reflects the honesty and beauty at the heart of our company. Our choice of raw materials and approach to manufacture enhances everything we produce. So the wax, so this is what I've melted here. I wonder if you can see it. Let me, it's a wee bit hot, so I need to be a bit careful. I'm going to tip away some of the water, because I've melted it in what is essentially a kind of a double boiler. So I've got a pan of hot water, and then into that I've put the little double boiler, and you actually get this, okay? So that's partly why the kit is so expensive, because you get all the things like this special little pouring boiler, which is really clever because it just fits over your saucepan like that, over the water, and that's what melts the wax. You can probably see here the candle wax. Can you see that? There's just a little blob of it left, but most of it has melted. It's that lovely golden colour. So let's find out about the wax. So the wax is a blend of renewable vegetable and natural waxes, and the unique combination that we produces more oxygen than a typical paraffin or soy wax candle. Who knew that? Resulting in better air quality and very little soot. The wick, which I've got here somewhere, where's my wick? Here's my wick here, which I'll be popping in a minute. Our wick is pure cotton, burning more cleanly than a man-made nylon core. Our wax is a blend of rapeseed wax, coconut wax and beeswax, which work together to make this lovely wax. It talks about the coconut wax is cold pressed coconut oil, etc, etc. So, you know, lovely story. You know me, I'm all about good quality ingredients and sustainability and provenance and all of that. So, right, so step one, take one portion of wax from the bag and place it in the double boiler. Well, that is what I have done. Okay, so you can see now why those wax kind of, well, not balls, are they? What are they? Half balls. What's a half ball called? That shape. So that obviously just fits into there like that, and then you melt it. So it's super easy. So that's taken me about half an hour maybe to do that. Then it says, oh, you've got a little temperature thing with it as well, because you mustn't let it go over 80 degrees. So they give you a little temperature thing with a little clip that clips on. Very clever. So yep, so that's bang on 80. Ha, got that right. So then it says, while the wax is melting, attach the wicks to the inside of each glass using sticky dots. Right, okay, here we go. So you get your glass, little glass candle holders in here. So I've got half a dozen of these. So it makes, each kit makes 6, which, you know, I mean, the high quality candles are massively expensive. So I got my little glass jar there, but I guess you could use anything, couldn't you? If you had a really lovely kind of antique or vintage glass bottle or glass jar or glass bowl, you know, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? You could fill your own candles with your own scent. Gorgeous. Is everyone enjoying this, by the way? Oh, Andrea says just about to order 2 of these workshops. Yeah, don't forget the discount, okay? Liz Loves gets you 10% off. And then what I noticed, actually, talking about discounts, because we all love a bargain, is that it comes with a little card that says, with another checkout code, and it says if you enter this, then you get 25% off the refills. So that's really good, isn't it? So you can then buy the waxy bits. You won't have to buy the whole thing again. You can just buy, and you can choose your fragrances. I'll come on to the fragrances because they are amazing. I'm going to share with you my 2 favourites. So, right, attach the wick. So here we go. So here's my wick, and somewhere I've got a clear dot. Right, so it comes with all these little sticky things. So there's my dot. I'm going to take that dot off. Oh, it is very sticky. Ooh. Ooh, is it going to come off? No, twanged it. Stuck to my thumb now. Oh, honestly, never do live telly. Never do live. Right, okay, I think that is attached. So I'm going to stick that in the middle of my... Is that going to work? Come on. Yeah, go on. Oops. Oh, I've got a crooked wick now. Oh, it's drooping to one side. Oh, come on, we don't want a droopy wick, do we? Oh, no, that's not a good expression. Oh, oh dear, I can see it's all going to go horribly wrong. There we go, there we go. I think I've got it. I think I have got it, folks. I think my wick is stuck. Yes, I've got a sticky wick. Is it stuck? Yes. Oh, dear, can't tell. Anyway, it's a bit of a wiggly wick, but I think it'll be all right. Oh dear, right, okay, that will do for now. So now what? Oh, use a wick centralizer to keep the wick central. Well, you should have told me that, shouldn't you, in the beginning? Right, so this is what they call a wick centralizer. There you go, learning all the time. This is quite a clever little thing because you stick your wick in the centre and then you place it over your... Oh no, my wick's not central at all, it's all wiggly. And you pop it like that, and it holds your wick up. How about that? We don't want a wibbly wobbly wick, do we? No, we don't. Right, okay, so now what do I have to do? Right, once the wax is fully melted, pour 136 grams of it into the mixing container. Right, okay, so... We also have a mixing container. So the mixing container is paper cup. There we go. Very eco. And that is going to have my wax poured into it. So let's see how this goes. I might just do it over the saucepan, otherwise it's probably going to go all over the floor. Right, so this, I'm going to pour my lovely wax. Ooh, look lovely. Hope you can see this. Sorry, Facebook, I think I'm just out of shot. I will come to you in just one second. Here we go. So I've poured, I don't know if you can see really, can you see that kind of orangey stuff into there? Now what do I do? Now I have to add the fragrance. Oh good, this is the exciting bit. So when you go onto their website, you will see, I don't know how many dozens of fragrances, but some lovely ones. And of course, all this week I've been talking about rose. Now where are we? So they have this one. This was one of the ones that I chose. Moroccan rose. Oh, Moroccan rose. What a joy. That has just transported me to some, I don't know, either English country rose garden, actually, or, yeah, I went to the rose harvest. I was really lucky one year. I went to Damascena Rose Harvest, which is in the hills in Turkey. And I forget now, is it Isparta in Turkey? And we had to get up super early in the morning because they hand pick the roses before the sun comes up. So they're out at like 5 in the morning. And it was just such a lovely, lovely experience. And they were steam distilling the rose petals. And we were in this, it's kind of like a big warehouse. And they get these sacks and sacks of pale pink rose petals. This sort of colour. Sort of lavendery pink like that. Just beautiful. And they tip them out. I mean, they arrive on sort of tractors, and it's not very glamorous at all, but we were stood in this huge, huge warehouse, a bit like a kind of aircraft hangar, and the entire carpet was pink rose petals, like this deep. And there was a guy there just turning them up with a pitchfork like that to aerate them, and it was the smell. I mean, it was unreal. And that smell has just taken me back to that moment. Really, really lovely. I do love a nice rose. Okay, so I'm actually going to use a different one though, and I didn't realise that these guys, True Grace, started in Portobello Market, because that explains the name of this scent, and this is called Portobello Oud, O-U-D, that lovely French word for sort of aromatic, and this is an amazing smell. Portobello Oud, oh my goodness, it smells really quite sexy. It's quite a classy amber musk, if you like patchouli. It's an evening scent, so this is a candle that I would light in the evenings when I want things to be kind of cozy and warm and evocative. And oh, I wish we had Smellygram. We don't, do we? I mean, I can hold it up to you guys to smell, but you know, you're not getting it. But if you could imagine somebody quite exotic, who would it be? I don't know, Françoise Hardy, or you know, kind of Kate Moss at her best, you know, where you've got that really kind of sexy, groovy chick vibe going on. Very much that Portobello vibe, I guess, actually. Oh, it's quite addictive. I can't stop smelling it. So I'm going to make my Portobello Oud in here. So what do I have to do? I have to use, okay, so I've got my wax in here, and I'm going to add my fragrance. So I'm going to put 15 grams. So 15 grams, well, let me get a teaspoon, because a teaspoon is 5 grams, so I can get this right. So there we go. Right, so I'll do 3 teaspoons of this into my wax. But I guess, you know, once you've got your wax and your equipment, you can add essential oils, you can add anything, you could add your own fragrance. What if you could add your own perfume? That would be quite fun, wouldn't it? Because then you could, you know, if you're having a date night or whatever, you could make the room smell of your own personal scent. One to remember. Right, okay, then you get a little stirring stick, otherwise known as a wooden lolly stick, and you mix that just to get that all in. Oh, the smell here is amazing. Oh, really, really good. Then it says pour the blended wax into the glass. Aha, but before you do that, you have to do something else first. You have to get one of these little cups. You see, they give you all this stuff. This is a little paper cup, and you have to put some of the blend into here. And there is a reason for that, which I will tell you. So that has to go to one side, because this gets put on the top later to smooth the surface. I'll show you. All will become clear. So meantime, I have got my nice, strong and stable wick, and I'm going to pour in my wax into here. Let's see, hopefully I've got the right measure. Nice, look at that, perfect. So now this has to set, okay, for, how long is it going to take? I did some earlier, actually did it last night, excuse me, and yeah, 4 hours. So yeah, I mean, I did it before I went to bed, so I'm not quite sure what time it actually set, but 4 hours. So now what you do when you've done that, so these, my friends, are what I prepared earlier. So this is set, so this has turned from this sort of liquid colour into these lovely creamy white candles. And now you see why you've got to save some, because look at what happens. You see, you get that kind of indent at the top, can you see? And obviously you don't really want that. You want to get something really nice and smooth. So now, is it time to remove my wick stabiliser? Place the top up wax into the double boiler and melt. Right, okay. So I have got, this is some of the wax that I saved from yesterday. So it's obviously solidified. Now this is a different scent. This is actually seashore, this scent. And when I came into the kitchen this morning, it was like, oh, amazing. It's very sort of ozony, sea breezes. It reminds me of being on the Isle of Wight all those years ago. It's really fresh and lovely. It's a lovely sort of daytime scent. I could imagine this being great in a bathroom. Might keep it in the kitchen. Really just fresh. Lovely, lovely, lovely scent. So I'm going to melt this one now then. So I'm going to have to put this wax somewhere. I'll tip this wax into here. Don't want to waste it, because I'll make another one later on when you've all gone. I shall make another candle. So this now has to go back into my double boiler, I think. So oh, I've just tipped all the water away. Oh, honestly, what a muppet. Let me put that back on. Oops. Bear with me. I will just fill this up with some hot water again. And, oh, is that going to work? Yeah, hopefully it will work. Sorry, I am here, honestly. I can just about see you on Facebook. But I'm refilling my pan. Oh no, you can see all the junk behind me in the studios. That's no good. Liz, have you been on the sauce this morning? No, I haven't actually. I will have you know that I have been quite restrained. That's not to say that I might not be on the sauce a bit later. Oops, I'm just going to flick those bits away. Right, okay, so now I am melting my top up little bit of wax in here. Hopefully that's going to work. Come on, melt for me. Right, in the meantime, I can share with you some other things while we wait for that to melt. What was I going to talk about today? I know what I was going to do. I was going to... Oh, sorry, it's made me a bit sniffy, all this fragrancy stuff going on. There we are. So, Amy, I think, on Facebook. Hi, Amy. You have sent me a link. Right. I don't know if this is loaded properly. Let me just refresh it. Oh, here we go. Right. So, what are your favourite herbs for helping sleep? And that's from Linda on Instagram. Hi, Linda. Well, I don't know if you saw my film. I made a little film. When did I make it? Day before yesterday, maybe. I put my pyjamas on in the middle of the afternoon and I sat on the edge of my bed and I filmed basically what I do at bedtime, because I have found that a sleep routine is really, really helpful, because your brain just kind of responds to it and it goes, oh, right, now it's time to sleep. Now I understand what I'm doing. I'm smelling my lavender oil and I'm wearing really lovely cozy pyjamas. Those PJs are amazing. They're made of this soft fabric which has wicking properties. So wicking is quite an interesting fabric attribute, because it keeps you warm when it's cold and it keeps you cool when it's hot. Really clever. So if you find that you get temperature fluctuations at night, you know, it can be hormonal, let's face it, then they're really good because they help to keep you calm and cool and wick any moisture away from your skin, and they are really cozy. And a friend of mine gave me those pyjamas that you saw. They actually come from America, but I found them in the UK, so I popped a link where you can get them. And honestly, I've had them now for, well, probably well over a year, and I wash and wash and wash them, and they're as good as new, so I really am a fan. I also found a similar pair on Jigsaw, made of modal, which is also a lovely, lovely soft fabric. So, what do you say here? Sorry, that was not answering the question, was it? Was that about herbs? Yes, so, herbs. I think herbs can be incredibly helpful for helping to switch the brain off, helping to keep us calm. And I was recently sent some little drops called Slumber Drops by a new brand called Life Armory. And when I got them, I thought, not really sure about this. You know, I don't like brands that make big claims about things. I don't like things that are kind of unsubstantiated or aren't supported with a bit of evidence or science. Anyway, I tried these because they have blended herbs that are known to help calm the nervous system, and herbalists have used for centuries. So there's Passiflora, which is passion flower. One of my favourites. I mean, before I was using the drops, I was actually taking Passiflora capsules. But the problem with a capsule is that you have to get it into the digestive system, and the capsule has to break down, so it takes a bit of time, and then the herb to kind of circulate through the body and work. Whereas these drops are a tincture, they're liquid, you put them under your tongue, and it's bang, straight into your system. So it's passion flower, valerian, and valerian is another really sedating herb. It's really calming, it really helps with anxiety and stress. There's chamomile. There's another one in there which I can't remember the name of, but anyway, I put a link to that because we then hooked up with Life Armory and they are giving us a discount. I think it's a 15% discount if you use Liz Loves. But anyway, Amy, thank you, sweetheart. I know that you will put the link on Facebook, and I know it is on Linktree because I checked earlier, and I do recommend it. And that's all in my sleep feature. So if you want to see all the other things I talk about having a silk pillowcase, having a Tempur pillow, obviously wearing the right things, taking the herbs. I've got a link to my bite guard that I use to stop me teeth grinding. Can't sleep without that. Takes all the stress out of my jaw. And also silicone earplugs. Life changer. Silicone earplugs. They're really soft silicone, so you can sleep on them. I find that with the waxy ones, or the plastic ones, if you sleep on your side like I do, you don't want anything like that hard in your ear. But you do need to block out sound, because the tiniest sound for me, just wakes me up. And if you then get disturbed, even if you don't fully wake, your brain has started to react to a noise. So trying to keep the distractions to a minimum. I put blackout curtains at home, and then when I travel, I've got a little silk eye mask. I put the details of from the Nice Cream Company. Again, I think they've given us a discount, so do go and check. And what I like about that mask is it's really big, so it covers all the edges, so no light can get in. And it's pure silk, so it's just really lovely on the skin. It doesn't crease or crunch up, and they're just a lovely, nice British brand. So how are we doing here, my little candle making pot? Oh, I think I can scoop out the wax from here just so I can melt it again. God, it's a bit hot. Right, so so do check that out, because I know sleep, sleep is such a fundamental, isn't it? I think, what is it, a third of our lives? Normally we should be asleep, and resting, so important for our immune system, because that's when our circadian rhythms kick in, and that's when our gut microbiome starts to repair itself, and everything starts to recharge and refresh, and our immune system is chucking out bits of cellular debris so that we can wake up hopefully feeling invigorated and revived, but really hard when there's all this kind of anxiety making stuff going on. And obviously hormonally, for me, that was my journey with HRT. That's the reason why I first started taking estrogen, was because I was losing my sleep. And literally the first day I rubbed on my pumps of estrogel, I slept through the night. It was transformational. But there are also other things that we need, so all these other things, creating this ritual, reducing screen time, resisting the urge to scroll in bed at night. I'm so guilty of that. Just got to stop doing it. I take books and magazines to bed now, so I've got the printed word rather than the light from the page, because it's the light that's interfering with the pituitary gland in the brain, which is then keeping us awake and alert, because it's saying, oh, it's daytime, sun's out, I can see light, I'm going to stay awake. And what we want to do is start dimming everything. Have dimmer switches at home, put little dimmer switches on your lamps, dim everything down after about 8-9 o'clock in the evening, just so your brain is not having to fight with this strong light when it's actually time to switch off. Let me just check here. So this is Geeta on Instagram, who says, I'd really like to help my mum. She had a hysterectomy in her late 40s with no hormone replacement given to her. Oh my goodness, that is barbaric, isn't it? Now she's 78 and struggling with hearing, arthritis. Is it too late for her to start taking estrogen? Well, I'm sure menopause doctor will be able to answer that question. I'm not a medic, and obviously I definitely can't give medical advice. I do know that it's never too late if you get the right advice. My own dear mum, who's probably watching, hi mum, and I know you don't mind me saying this, but she went back onto HRT aged 80. She's now 81, and is finding life better. So, but you will probably need to see a specialist. I mean, there may be a GP. You may be lucky. Your GP may be willing and knowledgeable to talk about it, but you may need to go and see a specialist. Do check out Menopause Doctor. You can check out their website, menopausedoctor.co.uk. I know they're doing Skype consultations or FaceTime, whatever, over the internet, and they've got brilliant GPs, and they've also got a practice nurse who you can talk to, so it's good. And then they liaise with your GP back home. So although you pay for your initial consultation, obviously, because it's a private clinic, they're not out to fleece you. They're not going to prescribe you loads of expensive stuff or needless tests. They want to refer you back to your GP so that you can get proper NHS care. So I hope that's helpful, Geeta. Do keep in touch. Let us know how you get on with that. Obviously, if you want more information, HRT, I've written my e-guide. It's called The Truth About HRT, something I feel really passionately about. You'll find it on Liz Earle Wellbeing. I've got 2 e-guides. There's one, Truth About Menopause, Healthy Menopause, and one Truth About HRT, which has got lots of links in there to nice guidelines and all sorts of useful stuff and useful resources. It's been endorsed by 3 international professors specialising in menopause and hormones and breast cancer and breast care and all of that. So, the information in there is accurate and safe. So do check that out if you are interested. So Jackie says, I'm loving basil just now. Now, are you talking about Basil the dog or Basil the herb? I wonder. Jackie on Facebook, you say, I'm loving basil, just discovered how lovely it is. Could you tell me if it's good for you and what are its benefits? Well, I just love it because it's a great taste. All herbs will have antioxidant benefits, all of them. They're highly concentrated. So if you look at things like thyme, for example, there have been researchers up in Scotland who've been analysing, oh my goodness, that's going melting, let me turn that off, that has lots of studies into things like thyme, and basil, again, will have lots of good quality essential oils in it. So it's got these polyphenols, it'll be antioxidant, who knows the chemistry, actually, of all these amazing herbs. But definitely they will be good for you. And I don't know if there's any specific benefits to basil. I know that flies don't like it, so having pots of basil in the kitchen, if you have an open window and the flies tend to come in, I keep my pots of basil by the open window, and it does seem to deter them. I think they kind of take one sniff and hop off in the other direction. Right, talking about sniffing, let me sniff these lovely fragrances. Oh, excuse me. Too much, honestly. The fragrances here, I've got that lovely seashore smell, and I've got all my portobello oud and the rose and everything going on. So what I'm going to do now is, this was my little candle that I set earlier, so I'm going to remove the wick stabilizer. It's nicely set, but you can see on the top there that it's it's got that dent in it. Okay, so that's obviously why you need to then have your little smooth bit. So I've got here, this is my little cardboard carton. I'm going to pop my, oops, oh dear, that is a bit hot. Let me pick that up. I'm going to, Lil, when you're better, we'll do this together because it'll be so much more fun with 2 of us, and I'm sure you'll be better at it than I am. Right, that is going to go on the top. So this was my seashore smell. Oh, lovely. And I think I just pour it on the top. I better just check, haven't I? Read the instructions. What does it say? Melt the wax, pour onto the top of your candle to produce a smooth finish. Leave to set for another hour. Okay, so let's just pour this in. Well, yeah, it's filling up all the little nooks and crannies. Clever. So that is going to give me a really lovely smooth top, and that will just take an hour or so to set, and then you have to trim your wick. Very important. Trim your wick. Keep your wick trimmed at all times. Does it say how much you have to trim it by? It says, okay, 0.5 centimetre. So quite small. Okay, you want a small wick? Yes, small wicks are the safest. So I've been told. Completely lost my train of thought. Okay, so right, I'm going to leave that now. I've got more to make, which is really exciting. So lots and lots in this box. And actually, what's really nice is they give you all the little stickers. So you get a little sticker here with all the safety instructions, which you can stick onto the bottom of your jar. I might do that one for this one. So, if you're giving them as presents, they look really professional. There we go. So that's got all your kind of safety, never leave a candle unattended, all of that stuff. So that wick has to be trimmed, but I haven't yet filled it, smoothed it, so I'll leave that one. And then you also get little stickers. So this is the one for portobello oud, for example. So you can stick that just on the front. This is the one that says seashore. Yeah, number 26, seashore. So you can put that on. So isn't that just such a lovely thing? And it's so satisfying, isn't it? When you can kind of make stuff from scratch and you can just be a bit more mindful. You can do it on your own as a kind of mindful, calming thing. You can do it with another member of your household or one of your kids perhaps, because you're supervising them, and just make these lovely things that you can share. Practical, you can enjoy them, and of course you can get all your refills and bits and bobs from True Grace, so check them out. I actually had a shower this morning with coincidentally, my True Grace Portobello Oud, because my great friend Caro, for my birthday, she gave me one of their aluminium canisters of their body wash in Portobello Oud, and it does smell absolutely lovely. So Caro, if you're watching, thank you. I loved it. Very, very kind. Talking of gifts, just before I head off, don't forget that if you want to send somebody a copy of the magazine, just a single copy with a little personal handwritten note, then go to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website. Don't go to where it says subscribe to the magazine, because that takes you to Warner's. And that's great. If you want to subscribe to the year, fabulous, that's where you go. But they'll get very confused if you send them a message saying, I'd like to buy one and I'd like you to write this in the message. Because that's what we do at Liz Earle Wellbeing. So you have to go to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website where it says shop, go down to where it says magazine, and then there's a single issue. And if you click on that, then you can get your one issue with a little handwritten note and get that sent out to somebody with whatever little get well message or cheer up message or, you know, thinking of you message, whatever. So that is that. Also, let me just move this out of the way. Just to share with you, can you see it? No, you can't even see them. Maybe if I turn this around. Can you see that? Yeah, I've got my beautiful little roses. No, it's not really working very well, sorry. But I just wanted to share with you, I'm going to be doing a little bit more on roses. These are my little shot bottles, which I'm using. This was from the Healthy Juice Company with my single roses in. Aren't they pretty? This one, which I know lots of people asked about when I posted a picture of it, is called, I think it's called Ocean Shore. I made a note of it. Oh gosh, where did I put it? I think it is Ocean Song. Ocean Song is the name of this one, this beautiful lilac one. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely lovely. I've taken some pictures of this in my garden, which I'll post later on my Instagram if you want to take a look. And they're just so pretty. Anyway, I shall leave you with these gorgeous blooms and hopefully a little bit of inspo for the weekend. It's my day off tomorrow, so Sunday, family day, and I'll be back with you, back on the farm on Monday. So I'm going to be doing Makeup Monday. So I'm going to be in my bedroom. I've got some dressing room treats. I'm going to be talking to Nena, who's the amazing founder of LBB Beauty. And we featured her in the magazine and online for the last 6 months or so with her great brand. So it's another lovely British female founder-led brand. Lots of good stuff to talk about. I've got some makeup hints and tips. If you've got comments or questions, pop them below on Instagram, pop them in Facebook, and just sending you lots of love. Have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you. Yeah, I love this dress too, actually, I have to say. Not loving the fact it's now half price because I personally bought it for full price, but there you go. Share the love. I give that to you as a gift. Sending you lots of love. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.